It's no secret that James Gunn's reboot of the DC universe has had a lot of controversy. It all started with his lies concerning Henry Cavill and the direction of the reboot in general, and then things got worse with his announced slate of projects. Fans thought it couldn't get any worse until James showed off his Superman's costume.
What a terrible joke!
Unfortunately for the Gunn crybabies, these new set pics make things even worse. Now I want to clarify one thing. I usually try not to judge set pics too much because they tend to clean up the images in post using CGI and better lighting. The difference here is that they already released an official look at Superman. This is not our first look. They had a chance to fix the lighting, touch up the suit, and pose him however they wanted, and this is the garbage we got. So the typical set pic excuses go out the window, since the issues with this suit in the set pics are the exact same as the issues we saw in the official picture. Put simply, it's just a god-awful suit.
Oh, somebody kill me, please!
I just can't sit here and lie the way people online tend to, and claim it all looks amazing or that they cooked with this suit. The funny thing about online comments though, is that they never seem to translate to ticket sales. We saw that when The Flash came out and tons of comments poured in saying it was good and we were all haters, yet somehow the movie still lost hundreds of millions at the box office. At a certain point, some people just like to talk and are desperate for attention, even when they don't really care about the topic and have nothing meaningful to contribute to the conversation. As a DC fan who actually goes to the theaters to watch the movies, watches pretty much all the shows, and even used to buy comics before they really went to shit, I'm gonna tell it like it is. This suit blows. There's no beating around that bush, it just looks horrible. It's baggy in all the wrong places, and the way it creases in these set pics continues to prove that. The creases even make the suit look like cheap styrofoam in some of the pictures. It honestly makes David look bloated, even bordering on skinny fat, which is extremely sad considering how big David got to play Superman. It feels like all his hard work just gets tossed aside because Gunn and his team of dunces couldn't tailor the suit to fit him better.
You guys suck at everything.
The actual design still has the same issues as before. It still looks like athletic clothing mixed with the cheaper CW costumes and even the Guardians 3 outfits, all of which come together to make a goofy Superman suit. The downgrade from Henry's suit to this garbage has never been more clear than it is now. Mr. Terrific, on the other hand, actually looks great. On a side note, even though Mr. Terrific isn't one of my favorite heroes, I do have to say the actor playing him is actually terrific. The difference between the two suits is that even in the comics, Mr. Terrific has a very simple suit. Hell, the CW was able to do it justice. So it's not hard to get it right, and while I'm not taking away credit for a job well done, it's also not something I'm gonna heap massive praise on them for getting right. As I'm recording this, set pictures are still coming out, and the latest one shows Rick Flag Sr. arresting Superman with the help of the Engineer, aka a member of the Authority, whose presence in the movie Gunn tried to pathetically cover up, and a mystery character. Setting aside the fact that yet again we have added more characters to the roster, at first glance I thought this guy was just some super soldier or even a hero that Gunn just dressed up in a new costume. But then, just like everyone else, I noticed the big U on his chest and realized what was going on here. A while back, rumors claimed Lex would clone Superman and create Ultraman instead of Bizarro. Yet again, Jimmy the Idiot gave an explanation that didn't really dismiss that rumor, because Lex would still be the main villain in that scenario, considering he created Ultraman. That character would just be a way to show off Superman's abilities, since obviously Lex is human and might not have his suit yet to be able to fight Superman. Nobody bought his lies, and My Time to Shine Hello even went at him pretty hard, claiming they saw visual proof of Ultraman. After seeing this picture, I'm tempted to agree with them on this one. Knowing Gunn, he would pull some weird nonsense and ruin Ultraman like this.
Hey, jump off a boat and let the boat leave. Starve in the ocean or get eaten by sharks.
I'm not saying it's 100% Ultraman, but I wouldn't be surprised if it was. If it is Ultraman, it seems like Gunn wanted a Superman clone, but he didn't want to do Bizarro's goofiness, so he rewrote the crap out of Ultraman. He didn't want comic book Bizarro, but he also didn't want comic book Ultraman. So instead of creating his own character, he still wanted that name recognition, so he cheated and called his amalgam character Ultraman. Just like they point out, and I've always said, Gunn is just making things worse by replying. Things get leaked, it's out of his control, but what he can control is his response, or better yet, his absence of a response. He didn't have to say anything, and yet he chose to try and cover up the leaks. It's not that he's a bad person for wanting to cover up a leak, it's the fact that he keeps going so hard against the rumors that end up being true, meaning you can't logically trust anything he says. He's better off just shutting his damn mouth and accepting that he can't fix a leak by lying about it. All that does is make him a liar when it ends up being true.
Stop it. Get some help.
It doesn't bring me any joy to have to say any of this, but I refuse to be one of these dorks who just wants to fit in and are terrified of being called a hater by the shills. I love the Scooby-Doo movies, and the first Guardians movie is one of my favorite MCU movies, so it still blows my mind that someone who made all those great films is responsible for trash like this. As usual, you'll get the "nobody hates DC like DC fans" nonsense, because to them being a real fan means sitting back and consuming whatever pile of dog shit with a DC label stamped on it that someone plops on your plate with a smile on your face, never daring to criticize anything they do.
Idiots doing idiot things because they're idiots.
You've literally got fans who are claiming this is the best Lois and Superman based on a few set photos. This is how delusional these people are. They're so starved for content that they'll desperately eat up anything they can get their hands on. Their hope turns into a rabid obsession, and they end up jumping to crazy conclusions because they need it to be true. They can't deal with reality, and they're just living in their own fantasy land. God forbid we make any judgments on the costumes, which are purely visual, but they can talk about how this looks like the best Superman movie ever from a few set photos, but by all means overanalyze a smile and praise the chemistry between actors that you imagined in your head.
You have a brain injury.
This is pretty much DC's last chance. They should have spared no expense and made the best version of Superman we've ever seen. Instead, we got stuck with a guy whose mentality is to be different solely for the sake of being different. And because he likes being weird and fringe, he changes things up too much, ruining them in the process.